I didn't write this down, so this is coming from the heart. One thing about me starting this channel was to share not just, dance tutorials and my love for dance and the arts, but my life as a mom, but also little tidbits about my life and why, I came up with the, channel of Life as an 8 Count and just my business as a whole. And if you don't believe in miracles, if you don't believe that there's a God, if you don't believe in just Christmas blessings and just, unexpected blessings, this is not for you. Not too long ago, I shared with you guys my journey about me taking the Ancestry DNA. And part of that was I wanted to know more about my roots, my African roots, but also just about my family. I grew up here in Atlanta, Georgia, but as some of you all know, I was born in Los Angeles, California. And to make a very long story short, my mother went to Howard University on a scholarship, visual arts scholarship. And the story I was told was she got pregnant and she followed my father to California, and the rest is history. The unfortunate part is my mother, my biological mother, deals with paranoid schizophrenia. And if you're not familiar with that mental illness, you can look all of the symptoms and things up. But one of the things that is very present in paranoid schizophrenia is delusion. And all of these years, I was told that my father was a particular person with the last name Pugh. I'm not going to say his whole name. And his name was on my birth certificate. And we connected 10 years ago, virtually through my ex-husband. And we ended up taking a paternity test, and it came back that he was not my father. So there were so many questions in my mind, and I just gave up. After I got divorced 6 years ago, there were some things that were still looming in my mind about my father. And, I still had issues with my mother, and I had to go to therapy. I had to see someone to talk about, my feelings and my emotions. I felt that because my marriage failed, it was my fault. I thought maybe I had a lot of daddy issues and why I allowed certain things to take place in that marriage. I never thought that not knowing who my father was would really bother me. And I never thought that it would have such an effect on how I feel about men and my distrust for men. And, my divorce really did that. But then, thinking about those things and talking about that, not knowing my father in therapy really made me think about what made me tick. Fast forward, and I still have those questions, but I did the Ancestry DNA just to say, oh, well, let me just find out about my roots. I'm in a good, happy place. I'm peaceful. I'm living a single life and just, raising my kids and having my career. So I'm straight. I'm saying? Like, I don't really need to know who my dad is. I'm 41 years old. Who cares? And a girlfriend of mine brought me a Christmas gift. She brought me an Ancestry DNA kit, but by that time I had already done the Ancestry DNA. Now, mind you, I'm sitting with my results for months, and the only thing I'm looking at is the fact that my roots hail from Cameroon, Africa, and Nigeria. So I'm excited about that. I'm not even looking at my immediate family on the results. And my friend said to me, your first cousin is the key to really finding out who you are. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. And as I'm looking at our matches, I don't know any of these last names. I don't know any of these people. And my second cousin actually sent me an inbox on Facebook, and I'm responding to her, but I'm like, girl, I don't really know how we're related. It is what it is. And as my friend was here, she was like, you need to find, if you don't know who these people are, that's going to be your key to who your father is. And I was like, okay. So I found her on Facebook, sent her a message. Hey, we're first cousins. It's the results on Ancestry DNA. And, I don't know how we're related. Maybe it's through my father. I don't particularly know who my father is. I was told it was someone else, but clearly it's not. And her response was, so quick. And I dropped my phone when she told me, if she asked me if my family knew a particular person's name. And rewinding, growing up, my uncle used to always mention this man's name and say I looked like him. He was a high school friend of his. Come to find out, him and my mother dated. And he was in love with my mom and all this other stuff. So when she said his name, it made me go, wait a minute. And they called him, I'm not going to say his full name, but they called him Butch in the neighborhood. And so I asked her, does your uncle, or she ended up telling me he was her uncle. I said, does he go by Butch? She's like, yes, Uncle Butch. So mind you, our DNA matches were first cousins. She said that's her uncle. We start talking, put two and two together, come to find out that is the guy that my mother dated. And this literally just happened 2 days ago. And I'm trying not to cry, guys. I really am. But in the matter of 24 hours, not only did she and I connect, she connected me with family. And it was a no-brainer to them because they knew my family. They knew my grandmother. They, you know, my mother's sister, who I consider my mom, raised me. They know her. They know my uncle. And they gave him my number. And literally the next day he called me. And he was so full of joy and excitement that it scared me because I'm not used to that immediate affection or positivity or love from a man other than my stepfather. And when he did that, and when he called me, and the first thing he said was, I saw your picture, and he said, when I looked in your eyes, I knew you were mine. At 41 years old, I'm crying like a little girl. And we talked for a long time. Him and I have been back and forth, sending messages, sending pictures. And I look at my youngest son and I couldn't figure out, it was something in him that I didn't see in me and I don't see in his father, that he is my father and my son's grandfather, just some of his features. And it's really, really scary. My point in saying to you is this: I don't know where his and our relationship is going to go. I'm shocked. Like, this literally just happened. I'm full of different emotions. I'm happy. I'm everything. But I've been going through my life, with someone else's name. I get married to try to erase that and take on his name and, not address my issues. And, then I go through another thing with my divorce and starting all over and, trying to find myself again. And I wasn't even really looking this time. And my biological father pops up. My point to you, or I guess my message to you would be, if you aren't sure on who you are and you feel like there's a void, you keep going and you keep doing good and you keep putting good out there. God will always bring to you what is meant to be in your life and who is meant to be in your life. And I'm so thankful for how I was raised. And I will not complain because it could have been something totally different. But I'm really grateful for now. I feel like there was a void that is being filled. And not being filled by just dating and going out and doing all this other stuff, but finding out who the other part of me is. And for him to be so open to me makes me even more happy and excited. And so I'm looking forward to this journey and getting to know him and getting to know the other side of my family. Come to find out, I'm just strictly Miami 305, okay? Like, he is born and raised in Miami, and so is my mama. So I was just born in California. I don't have not one piece of Californian blood in me. But that's okay. And I'm excited. So to you out there God is so good. God is so real. Miracles happen. I don't know how to feel right now, but I feel like now I'm able to walk into my career and love and allow myself to be open to numerous possibilities. And this has done something to me before this year is out. This has been a crazy year. But I'm sorry, this is going to make me open my mind, open my heart for so much more for me and my children. And I'm looking forward to it. So if you don't believe in miracles, like I said, they happen. God is real. It is true. And so I can't wait to share with you more about my new journey as we celebrate this Christmas and as we go into the year 2021. So happy holidays to everybody. Love you guys. Life is truly an account.